Hi guys, thanks for watching. I'm Saumya and I'm back with another video. So today's video is an August TBR. If you are a book lover or a reader, then you should definitely hit subscribe to my channel Saumya's Bookstation, because on this channel I make loads of bookish content. And also do not forget to press the bell icon so that every time I post a video you get notified, and if you like my video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the books that I plan to read in August. You see, these are the books that I had picked up in my past, but I had kind of abandoned them because of one reason or the other, because ultimately I was not able to get into these books. But I don't really want to DNF them completely without at least giving these books another shot. The reason for this is that in 2019 itself, I had picked up Milkman by Anna Burns, which is the 2018 Man Booker Prize winner. The first time I had read that book, I had not been able to get into it at all, but the second time I picked it up, I read it and it turned out that I loved that book. So these are the 5 books that I want to try reading again, and I might just end up loving them. But if this time I'm not able to get into them, I'm definitely going to DNF them. Before starting the video, let me know in the comments if there is any such book that you left unfinished but want to get back to just to give it another chance. Now let's get into the video. The first one is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Frye by Rachel Joyce. Now I had picked this book up because I had read quite a few good reviews of this book. It's a shame that I was not able to get into it the first time. So it's a story about an old man named Harold Frye who lives with his wife in an English village, but their marriage is not exactly a happy one, and he is also not happy with his life. Then one day he receives mail, and in the mail there is a letter from this acquaintance whom he hasn't seen for like a really long time, and he finds out that she is very close to her death. So he obviously pens a letter down and he goes out to post that letter, but then somewhere along the way he decides that he is going to deliver his handwritten letter to this acquaintance himself. So he decides to walk from his English village to the place where she is admitted, and that place is apparently on the other side of the country. So he ends up making this really long journey on foot. I remember I was reading Circe alongside this book, and I got so immersed in Circe that I just kind of forgot about this one. The next one is The White Castle by Orhan Pamuk. Now, Orhan Pamuk being such a decorated author, I was really looking forward to reading this book, but I was genuinely heartbroken when I decided that I would not be able to go any further than I did. I read around 60-61 pages in this book, because beyond that it was impossible for me to read, because out of the 60 pages that I had read, I understood like just 40-50%. I did not understand the characters in the story, or I did not understand their perspectives that well. So the story is taking place in 17th century Constantinople, where a scholar is captured on a journey and he is made the slave to a master. And in the years that follow, this scholar who is a slave teaches his master about Western science and technology, and the master's hunger for knowledge and whatever he wants to know keeps on increasing. So that's what the story is about. Nevertheless, I'm going to give this book another try, and I'm going to read it with double the patience, and I hope that this time I'll be able to understand this book, and this time I'll be able to appreciate the brilliance that Orhan Pamuk is known for. The next one is Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. So this one is a non-fiction memoir of Frank McCourt's childhood that he spent in Ireland, which was full of struggles and sufferings. So I had picked this one up in 2018, and I'm not going to lie, it's a very well written book and also very engaging, but I had still stopped reading it because in 2018 a lot of things were happening in my personal life, a lot of things that were not something that I was happy about. So my mindset was such that when I had picked this book up, I had thought that I would be able to draw motivation and inspiration from this by reading the author's struggle, but this book did the opposite for me. I became even more depressed after reading it. My mindset is much different from last year. I'm way happier than last year. So I think now is the time for me when I can pick it up and appreciate this book for what it is. The next one is Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. So this is a story about a family whose members are not really close to each other. In fact, they are estranged. So the daughters of the family, or the sisters, have completely different lives because they are completely opposite from each other. One of the sisters is a homemaker and she also manages the family business. The other one travels around the world following her passion, but the circumstances eventually bring them together because their father falls ill. And when they get back home, they have their mother who doesn't really offer any support to them because she's cold and distant. On his deathbed, their father ends up extracting one last promise from the 3 women in his life. So we read about the story of this family, we read about their mother's past. So I had read 100 pages of this book, and in those 100 pages I was not able to form any emotional connection with the characters. This is supposed to be a very emotional, heartbreaking kind of a story, but I just somehow couldn't get into it with that intensity that I had wanted to, especially since I've heard so many good things about Kristin Hannah's books, but maybe now I will. So that's why I want to give it another try. The next one is A Scrapbook of Memories by Ashok Chopra. So Ashok Chopra is a publisher who has been in the Indian publishing industry for more than 40 years, and he has compiled his experiences in this book about the behind the scenes of the publishing industry in India, and some of them are good, some of them are ugly, like some of them are scandalous, and I was having a really good time while reading this book. The reason that I have not finished this book is because I just wanted to kind of stretch this book for some time. So I thought I could read a little of this book every month so that it goes on for a longer period of time, except the first time I picked it up, after that I just did not read it at all. So I am going to resume reading this book because it's a great book. So I have talked about the 5 unfinished books on my bookshelf that are kind of on the top of my priority reading list. Well, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section about any unfinished book that you have that you want to pick up. I had asked this in the beginning of the video. I'm asking again so that you do not forget to comment. So that's it, and if you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description box. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.